Hello, I'm Felicity Keats. I'm the founder-director of Dancing Pencils Literacy Development Project and UmSinsi Press. With me today I have two young authors, UmSinsi authors, Kajol Periram and her sister Saskia. Now I'm going to tell you, I think, a very interesting story. 5 years ago, when Kajol was 12, her father, Anton, who works with my nephew, asked me if I would help her with writing. I agreed, and I remember Anton came to the door and he had with him a tiny little girl. She was 6, that was Saskia. I explained to the father that this was a right brain course and we were going to be using this side of the brain and not that, and that to do that we had different rules. One of them was that we were going to use plain paper. They were going to write on plain paper, 3 exercises, and when they'd done that, they would write a book which could be published at some stage. So what actually happened was, Kajol had her lesson. She wrote a really, really nice story called Benny, which she may read for you later on. And on top of that, when Anton came back, tiny little 6-year-old Saskia had in her hand three pages of paper which she had folded, and on it she had drawn a picture and she'd done some writing. So I realized that this little girl had been listening far harder than I thought about what we were going to do, and I realized she was ready at 6 for a right brain lesson. So after Kajol had had her lesson, her father brought along Saskia for hers. And in her very, very first lesson, Saskia wrote, she did the exercises which she was, and then she wrote this story, which she called The Cat, and she wrote a little bit on the back, and we did exactly what she did as a book, because what she wrote was publishable. And I think she's going to tell you all about her experiences of it, but I'm showing you, this is a cat, and that's her. She had turned 7 by the time we published the book. That's her on the back cover, and I will show you inside. She illustrated it herself most beautifully. All we did was we typed out her handwritten story, and she illustrated it. It was also selected provisionally by the Department of Education as a foundation reader. So you can be very young and write work that other children are going to enjoy reading. Now I'm going to ask Saskia to tell us. How old are you, Saskia?
I'm 10.
You're 11 now.
Uh-huh.
How old are you now?
I'm 10.
10?
Yeah.
Okay, you were 6 when you did this. Tell us, what did you feel about it? What did you feel?
It was nice to write a book. It felt nice to look outside and think of other things, look outside, and yeah.
And you wrote a book just like that, and you wrote and you called it The Cat, all right? And you told me you had to read out aloud at school, so this has helped you, hasn't it? How are you doing at school?
Good, very good.
Are you flying?
Yeah.
You're flying. Would you like to read us The Cat? The cat. Right? You read Cat to us, all right? You just read loudly.
The cat. There was a cat, Sam. Sam was a good cat. One day he got lost. Mom and Dad kept him safe and sound, but one day he got lost in the woods. Mom and Dad woke up in the morning. They saw Sam was missing from home. Mom and Dad could not find him. Mom and Dad searched and searched. Sam really misses his mom and his dad. Mom and Dad could not find Sam. They found him on the cold floor.
Thank you very much. And then you wrote another book. What did you call that?
The Dinosaur and Other Stories.
Dinosaur. Now, would you like to read one of the stories to us, but read loudly for us so we can all hear one story that you wrote?
The Dinosaur. One day I saw a dinosaur. It had baby eggs. It roared at me. I got scared and I went home. I told Dad. He said, "Let me go and see." So he went. The dinosaur did not roar at him. "Come on, try, you're a scaredy cat." Okay, so I tried to pet it and it did not roar at me. But why? It liked me, so now it's my best friend.
Thank you very much indeed, Saskia. So Saskia's experience helped her a lot. Kajol, I know, wrote a book called Benny. Have you got it, Kajol? Thank you. This is Benny. She wrote this book, one shot on 2 pieces of paper, illustrated it just like that. There she is on the back. I know that last year she had a stand in the municipality exhibition centre where she had her books. So she's also got a second book, haven't you? Where is it called? And she's got another second book called Tales of Inspiration. I like the one story there about the dinosaur who didn't have a roar, hey? He didn't roar. And how he became the best guy there was. Now, which one are you going to read for us? The dinosaur with the roar, or Benny? Which would you like?
The dinosaur.
Eh?
The dinosaur.
You must just read loudly, thank you.
Miraculous. Billions and billions of years ago, in a faraway land, there lived a dinosaur named Miraculous. Miraculous was no ordinary dinosaur. He was special, very special, because not only was he part of a great dinosaur species called the Triceratops, but he was also a great leader and hero with a heart of gold. Although Miraculous eventually became a hero, he wasn't successful throughout his whole life, especially during childhood. As a young dinosaur, Miraculous was not the best of the bunch. He certainly was not like the others. Let's just say he was the ugly duckling of the group. He may not have been like the others, but that was because he was special. Because he was different, the other dinosaurs did not like him at all. They would often tease Miraculous about being too short or too small. Their famous reason for teasing him was because he had no raw, yet. The other dinosaurs would often say, "What an unsuitable name. You don't seem miraculous at all. Miraculous, why don't you go and do something miraculous like jumping into a volcano?" Poor little Miraculous couldn't even stand up for himself, especially because he was all alone. But he wasn't always alone. It was only after his mother's death that he became lonely. Poor Miraculous's mother had only died trying to protect and stand up for Miraculous. It all started one day when a T-Rex was teasing Miraculous and was running around and shouting, "Miraculous has no raw." But then suddenly he stopped when he noticed that Miraculous's mother was starting to get angry. He walked up to Miraculous and his mother and shouted, "A dinosaur without a raw shouldn't be called a dinosaur at all." Everyone burst out laughing, which caused his mother to become even more angry and say, "So what? What if he doesn't have a raw? It's not his time yet, but when it comes, you shall all see he will have the most ferocious roar in all the land. He will be so great and stupendous, he will be miraculous. And he will put you all to shame, especially you, Rex," which was the T-Rex. Rex couldn't believe his ears. He thought, "If one dinosaur could stand up to me, so can the others. One dinosaur cannot be the motivation for others, so before they have any ideas, I will have to kill her." And that's exactly what he did. He killed poor Miraculous's mother right there in front of his eyes. He said, "This is what happens if any of you disrespect me. From today, you will all treat me as if I was the king. Actually, from today, I will be your king, and if any of you go against that idea, I will simply have to kill you." So that was that. The evil Rex became king, and his first command as king was to banish Miraculous to a faraway island surrounded by deep water from which he would never be able to escape. A few years later, poor and hopeless Miraculous sat upon the island shore, lounging in the sand to catch some sunlight when he saw 2 crabs, a mother and a baby crab, running towards the water after they had seen a seagull coming towards them. Suddenly, the mother crab noticed that the baby crab had got stuck in some seaweed, so she hurried back to try and clip out the seaweed before the seagull came, but it was too late. The seagull swooped down below, grabbed the mother crab, and tried to fly away. Miraculous was not going to let this happen. He wasn't going to let another baby be separated from his mother just like he was separated from his. So he flung his tail at the seagull, causing it to drop the mother crab and fall into the water. The 2 crabs were reunited again and thanked Miraculous for saving them. Miraculous felt good after reuniting the mother and child. He gathered up all his might and courage to try and escape the island and to stop the evil T-Rex from ruling the land. And that's exactly what he did.
He swam across the ocean all his might to return to the land and restore his honor by defeating the evil T-Rex. When he arrived at the land, no one recognized him until he approached Rex and said, "It's me, Miraculous. I'm back to restore my honor by defeating you once and for all." The T-Rex was really surprised and said, "Wow, wow, the rawest dinosaur and I meet again. Killing your mother certainly wasn't enough. Now I'll have to kill you instead." "Is that a challenge?" said Miraculous. "Bring it on." The T-Rex shouted, "After him," but no one obeyed. "Well, if you're not going to listen, then I will have to kill him myself. Thereafter I will kill all of you," said Rex. He took a step back, but Miraculous oddly did not seem to be scared one bit. As the T-Rex came nearer, Miraculous for the first time let out a roar so ferocious like no other roar anyone had ever heard. The T-Rex, on the other hand, ran and was never seen again. After that day, Miraculous was the leader and sworn protector of all the dinosaurs and continued to be Miraculous.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you. So I'm also going to show you, I'm going to tell you about Kajol's book, Benny. Now look at the lovely illustration she did on the front cover. She just did that illustration there. And the story about Benny is that he was a very lucky dog to start with. He was spoilt and lived inside the house and had lovely food. And then one day his father bought a kennel for him online. And then poor old Benny had to go outside and stay in the kennel. And there from the kennel he could see them inside the house eating their lovely chicken food that he used to eat. He now had pellets, which he wasn't very happy about. And they were all cozy and comfy, and he was cold outside, and so he got quite cross. And what happened is he had laser eyes, and with those laser eyes he actually told them that he would use his laser eyes if people were unkind to animals in the future. And I think he probably got back in the house to eat his nice food and have a nice soft comfortable bed again. It's a lovely story. She wrote it just off like that at her first training. Shows the power of our right brain, and I'm sure it's done a lot of good for Kajol. I'm sure she's doing very well at school, Kajol.
Yes.
You're doing very well, they're both doing. And it's lovely to have them both again. These are my little pupils from long ago. And thank you very much. Thank you very much for listening to us today. Okay.